Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Anna Morphides with Many Hearts Counseling, and today's video is going to be all about how to stop creating resistance in our life and how to ease the incessant chattering roommate that lives in our mind that keeps talking to us, and many times it uses phrases in shoulds and then making us feel pressure about things that we should be doing differently or we should be doing more of, etc., etc. So today we're going to talk about how to alleviate that pressure and how to live a more mindful life that is more aligned with peace and harmony and acceptance of what is. So normally I do get downloads for video content in the middle of the night. I just get these ideas and I usually just record them, and so I can listen to them the next day, because sometimes I don't actually remember. But this is what had actually come through for this experience to help people, including myself, because once upon a time I used to live my life with shoulds. They were my Bible, and I did not realize exactly what I was doing to myself and to my body by putting all that pressure on myself all the time. So I used to try to find my self-worth by doing things. So working 80 hours a week, and then volunteering on top of that, and always thinking I should do more, I need to do more, I'm not doing enough. And I kept pushing myself in this direction, which eventually just ended up breaking me down, because our cells within our body are so precious, and they have really important jobs to do within ourselves. They have to digest our food. They have to circulate our blood to all of the organs. They have to filter out all the unhelpful nutrients from the food that we consume. They have to deliver oxygen everywhere. Did I already say that? They have to do so many things. Our pancreas is constantly filtering things, and our liver is processing things that we eat. All these processes, if we are using our energy that our cells are making to combat unhelpful core beliefs that we have about ourselves, then this is how we create resistance to what is, and we end up making ourselves sick. Because as we have learned in cognitive behavioral therapy, when we use phrases in shoulds, like when we use should statements, it often is a form of criticism. And we ought to, we have to. These are similar offense, as they call them in counseling school, that we give to ourselves that are not helpful, and they veer us off the course of our naturally loving, aligned, wanting to experience peace and joy self. So the shoulds and I ought to, or I have to, they are more aligned with the unhelpful core beliefs, because if your core belief is somewhere along the lines of I am not good enough, then of course you're going to start to think I should do more, I need to do more, because the way you think and feel about yourself needs to be supported by that thought. The unhelpful core belief will generate thoughts, whether we like it or not, it's going to happen. But once we are conscious of it, then we can actually start to change it, because what we want to do is actually give ourselves a different experience. We want to give them a head start to the way that they feel and shine within our bodies, because we have trillions of cells. And Deepak Chopra always talks about this, especially because he has a a doctor, like an MD background. He's actually a doctor, and he has studied medicine, and always talks about how our cells, our trillions of cells, have so much work to do within our bodies. So if we spend time in our sympathetic nervous system, which means that we are activating our fight, flight, or freeze system, and then that means we're fighting or trying to flee or trying to numb the unhelpful thoughts of I should be doing more of this, I ought to, I have to. All these perpetuate more reasons for our body to go into the sympathetic nervous system, which requires energy to offset the fight, flight, or freeze system. So then we're taking that precious energy that our cells could use to do other things within ourselves, and now we are using it for something that is actually not as necessary. So what was advised and makes so much sense to me in counseling school was, instead of using should statements, we could say, I could work more, but would that actually be of any like, what would be, I'm thinking of the word in Greek, I can't think of it in English. What would be the positive aspect in working more or working out more or eating less? Like, we can always do something different. I could go to bed earlier. So if we speak in ways like that, instead of saying I should do this, I should go to bed earlier, I should do that, you take away that criticism and you allow yourself the choice to do. I could do something different, but do I really want to? Maybe yes, and maybe no. And then if we choose the no, then we are going to be okay with that. If we choose the yes, then we should be okay with that too. And then we can only know by trying. So if I'm choosing to, I shouldn't be eating that pizza today. Well, if I choose to eat the pizza, then I should be okay about eating the pizza, because it's not about eating. It's not about the pizza that you eat, it's how you feel after about the pizza that you eat, is a phrase that I was told that I use as my Bible all the time. And then even if I regret eating that pizza, it would be more advisable to not shame ourselves for doing so, and accepting that experience and having and knowing that it's okay too. So maybe if that disrupted my sleep pattern, or it made me feel heavy the next day, or whatever it is, then perhaps next time I won't eat the pizza, or I'll choose to eat it at a different time, or I won't choose to go meet that friend for coffee. I'll choose to do it at a different time. Again, we can only know by trying, and we don't shame or guilt ourselves. We don't give ourselves more work than it already has to do to go through the everyday experiences. And that's where mindfulness comes in, because mindfulness is being able to witness our thoughts and choose our thoughts carefully. And I pulled out some papers. I'm going to be right back with them to read them out about mindfulness. Okay, I'm back with the papers. This is from the physical wellness component of my counseling degree. And they were very much stressing that the brain is very capable of changing its pathways by changing our thoughts. That is our superpower. That roommate that constantly chatters in our mind and produces thoughts and says all these things, we have a choice how to respond to that. The brain learns to change how we respond to challenges in a new way, because we know that we are capable of changing our brains through changes in our thoughts, which then in turn will lead changes in our actions and our emotions. So thoughts are very, very important. And through mindfulness, we now know that our mind keeps generating thoughts whether we like it or not, or whether we want it or not. And through mindfulness, we have the ability to observe the internal process of what is being generated. And one of the benefits of mindfulness is creating the time to think about our action on that thought. Do we choose to become the thought? Do we choose to believe it? Or do we just allow it to pass? And pausing to notice body sensations also provides insights into what is going on in our brains and our unconscious mind, because sometimes we feel stress before we think it. Sometimes we feel our anxiety before we think it. So yes, being present with our bodies and our minds will help us to know what thought it is that we need to let go and untwist, because we have many cognitive distortions, which means distortions of our thoughts, because we as humans, we tend to think in all or nothing. And this is all based on cognitive behavioral therapy. This is the things that we do in order to alleviate the pressure of our unhelpful core beliefs that we acquired as children. So we avoid all or nothing thinking. We don't look at things as absolute or black and white, like I'm never going to become something, or this is never going to work out. This is a disservice. Of course, everything is always working out, and you become exactly what you believe that you can. Overgeneralizing. You view a negative event as a never-ending pattern of defeat, which again, I resonate with this very much, because I used to do that. I will do 100 million of things, because I would have 2 jobs and volunteer and create all these events, and I would do one mistake out of 100 things that I created, and that's what I would fixate on to prove the theory that I'm not good enough. So let us stop doing that and focus on the things. And that's why gratitude is so important. We focus on the positive things so we can create a positive feeling, therefore bring more positive experiences in our life. Watch our mental filter, because we tend to dwell on negatives and we ignore the positives. I guess this is almost the same thing. So always stay in the positive. Avoid jumping to conclusions about any outcome, because that conclusion is based on our unhelpful lenses of perception, aka core beliefs. So if you're going to jump to a conclusion, jump to the conclusion that you actually want to experience without a doubt that you can have it. If you want to jump to a conclusion, jump to the conclusion of what you actually want to experience, because it will happen. And time is an illusion. It doesn't matter if it's a year or 3 months. I have worked on things, I feel like, for the past 8 years, and I'm finally seeing some of the outcomes now. And other things took a month, and other took 3 years. You just don't know, but you just cannot give up. I know that if you predominantly believe it, because sometimes it's not going to happen all the time, predominantly what we believe, that's what's going to manifest. It would be helpful to know both things out of proportion, right? Because sometimes we tend to do that. If something negative takes place, let's not give it more meaning than it actually has, and just purely avoid perhaps doing that action ever again. Or even if we repeat it, then again, we're going to have compassion and love for ourselves and forgiveness, because doing the other, again, will take us into our sympathetic nervous system, where we have to spend, again, time and energy trying to do something that naturally our true self would not want us to spend time guilting and shaming ourselves, because we're supposed to be true, unconditionally loving ourselves and forgiving ourselves, no matter what. And then, oh yes, emotional reasoning. You reason from how you feel. I feel like an idiot, so I really must be one. Or I don't feel like doing this, so I'll put it off. So again, when we say things like that, we're not actually being really kind to ourselves. And let's not support this theory of the labels that we decide to give to ourselves that are unhelpful. And then, of course, the should statements should really go away. Okay, I'm gonna have to be right back. Nothing like a dog to show you true unconditional love, which is exactly what we're supposed to be doing with ourselves. So it's kind of nice that he came in this moment to even remind myself to give myself unconditional love, because I tend to want to go back to my old ways where I used to find my self-worth by always saying yes, even when I wanted to say no, working way overtime. But that's unnatural. We're supposed to have a balance between work and play. We're supposed to have a balance in unhelpful thoughts and helpful thoughts. We're supposed to be predominantly more on the side of joy. And I'm not saying like not work, because I'm still like chasing, I shouldn't say chasing my dreams. I'm still living out my dreams and pursuing and doing things, but I also give myself a break when I need to have a break. And I stay true to my word. If I want to take a day off, I'm not going to guilt and shame myself and say things such as, I should be working right now, I should be doing more right now, because that's not helping me. Because the way I was working before didn't actually work. I ended up making myself sick because I was creating so much resistance with my mind that I actually made myself ill, and my lower stomach and gut region like really suffered, because I was not allowing myself enough energy to do what I naturally needed to do, because I was fighting to find myself worth so much through working. And did that give me peace and recognition? No, it did not. It actually created the complete opposite. So it is only when I started to understand gratitude for myself and the things that are present in my life that I started to change my vibration, and I started to feel more peace and recognition for myself, within myself. And that's when reality, my 3D reality, rose to meet me in that recognition. So again, when we are swimming in an ocean of shoulds and have to, the outcome is going to be most likely us drowning in something that is not helpful. So we can, absolutely avoid doing that and continue to reframe our thoughts, choose our thoughts, speak in phrases of, I could do this, I can try this, I can always do something different. And that already feels less pressure putting on ourselves, because we have already so much to do anyways. Why not help us give ourselves a head start for a more positive experience within our own human vibration, that no matter what, we're gonna carry anyways through the thoughts that are produced predominantly through our core beliefs. I hope you found this video helpful. Again, with so much of my love and my gratitude, thank you so much for supporting my channel. It means the world to me. If you would like to subscribe, please do so. And if you liked anything about this video, give it a thumbs up. And of course, I'm always accepting ideas and content for more videos to help not only you, but myself as well, because I'm constantly also learning myself and rewiring the way that my brain thinks and feels about itself, so I can keep creating more positive experiences in my life, because we are wired to be below the line, and it's always requiring the work to transmute all the unhelpful emotions that are generated through our thoughts that lead to sadness, fear, anger, disgust, right back into joy. And thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.